Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today we're going to take a look at the upcoming DC Collectibles DC Comics Designer Series Greg Capullo Two-Face figure. The 7-inch figure comes packaged in the same style of packaging we've seen with the other Designer Series figures in this line. You've got the window box packaging with the figure clearly displayed, the name of the character off to the side, telling us it's figure number 10 in the series. You've got the Designer Series logo down below. For this one we have white and purple colors on the box. On the side we have some artwork from Greg Capullo for the Two-Face character. And then on the back we have a look at the figures in this wave. And all the other figures in this wave were released several months ago. So this figure got delayed for some reason, but it is coming out and going to be hitting comic and specialty shops next week. So we've got Batman 0 Year, Two-Face, Commissioner Gordon, Batgirl, and then it tells us down below that the figure was sculpted by Jonathan Matthews. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. And first of all, let me just say a big thanks to DC Collectibles for sending this figure out to us early to review. As I mentioned before, this figure will be hitting comic and specialty shops finally next Wednesday, so right before Christmas. The figure comes with two accessories. It comes with two pistols. Both pistols are exactly the same. They're solid black. There's not a lot of paint detail on this. In fact, there's no paint detail. It's just black plastic. Pretty decent sculpting detail on the gun though, with the line work on the handle and everything. So I like the sculpting on it. Now I'm not really sure why they give you two of these, because he doesn't come with any alternate pair of hands, so he can only hold one gun at a time in his left hand, and the right hand has a coin in it, so you can't put a gun in there. So again, I don't know why they really gave him two guns, since he can only hold one at a time, but for whatever reason they did give you two. Now the gun, once you get it in his hand correctly, he will hold it pretty tightly, but you got to make sure that he actually has this trigger finger here, and you got to make sure you get that gun, the trigger part of the gun, into that trigger finger, or it won't stay in his hand very well. So the sculpting detail on the figure is really nice. I like what they've done with the scarred side of the face on this one, with the skin tissue and everything. I think that looks really good, and the teeth. And I like how they've done the eye, which is basically all black, and then you've got some of those skin pieces going over the eye, and his ears basically completely burnt off. So I think this is one of the nicest looking Two-Face heads we've seen from DC Collectibles, and they've done some pretty nice ones in the past, but I like this one a lot. And then the other side is just, normal Harvey Dent look. I like the sculpting of the hair. The skin tone's a little bit on the pale side, but it's not too bad. And then you've got some of those darker reddish markings, which give it some added detail up here around his eyes. I like the eye on this one. I think they did a good job with the pupil. Looks really, he looks like he's really angry and stuff, so I think that looks really good. The rest of the figure is basically just done with black and white, so not a lot of paint detailing. His one hand, the scarred hand, has got a lot of that red markings on it to give it that kind of burnt look. On the underside you've got a lot of lines. I think that looks a little off on the underside of the hand. It's not major, but I don't like all those lines as much. And then even on the regular hand, he's still got those kind of red lines and some red around his fingernails and stuff, so it looks like he's got some blood or something on his hands or something. And then with this one, he's got the coin that's sculpted in there. Not really much in the way of detail on the coin. It's done with a metallic silver, and on the one side it's just got, looks like a line in it, and that's it. The code is done with that vinyl type material. You've got black on one side, white on the other. You've got the white buttons. I like how the top button, which is button, you've got the white, which is on the black, basically with the black. So I like that. You've got the shirt, which is the black on this side, white on this side, and then the tie with the opposite black and white, which looks pretty good. Same with the pants. I like the shoes on this one. It looks like he's wearing a really nice pair of shoes. And on the white shoes, you've got a little gold trim, and on the black shoe, you've got some silver trim. So I like how those look as well. So the figure stands right about 6 3/4 inches tall, so just a bit under 7 inches. Here he is next to the Greg Capullo Batman figure that DC Collectibles did, and they're about the same height. Then here's another DC Collectibles Two-Face figure in 7-inch scale. Now this one is a little bit taller, but they're pretty close to about the same height. I like definitely like the detailing on this Greg Capullo one over this one. And then finally, just for one more comparison, here's the Greg Capullo Commissioner Gordon figure. And again, they're about the same height. So articulation on this figure is not the best. The head is just on a ball joint, so he can look left and he can look right. He's got a little bit of up and down movement, but not a whole lot. Arms are just on a rotating joint, so you can't do the arms out at all. You can just rotate the arms, unfortunately. It does have a bicep swivel, single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow pretty good, and then swivels on the wrist, but no hinges. He has a waist swivel, so you can swivel at the waist, which is located under the coat. And then again, just a T-crotch design, so you can only do the legs forward, and you can do the legs back a little bit. The coat does limit how much back you can do the legs, but you can't do the legs out at all. No thigh swivel, single hinged knee, so it can only bend his knee about that much, and then has swivels on the ankles, but no real up or down movement with these, and no ankle pivot. And one peg hole on the bottom of his foot. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I think this is a really nice looking figure, one of the nicest Two-Faces that we've seen from DC Collectibles. So if you're a fan of Two-Face, I think this is one you'll definitely want to add to your collection. I believe this is going to be the final Greg Capullo figure for the designer series that's going to be released. Articulation is a little disappointing, but you know, honestly, it's not too surprising. DC Collectibles just never seems to like to give these guys with suits and stuff a lot of articulation, so again, not really too surprising there. As I said, this figure is slated to hit comic and specialty shops next week, right before Christmas. It was delayed. It was supposed to be out months ago. I don't know why it got delayed, but it is finally coming out. So be sure to check your comic and specialty shop if you want to add this one to your collection. We'll have a full gallery of images up at toynewseye.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.